All right, the deadline for Iran to halt their nuclear program has come and gone again. And the report released today by the UN's nuclear watchdog says it can't guarantee it's strictly for peaceful purposes. You think so? President Ahmadinejad isn't listening to UN's tough talk. What a shock that is. While the White House called the report's findings, quote, disappointing, the reality is that Iran is a child that needs a spanking, and the UN is the parent who keeps threatening one but never gives it. Sanctions against Iran will only work if they're supported by the entire world's force. And it seems that President Bush might agree, because a second aircraft carrier with its full battle group has parked itself in Iran's backyard. If you think that's an overreaction, listen to what Ahmadinejad said yesterday. Quote, Iran will not retreat one iota in its path to nuclear victory. Alireza Jafarzadeh is the author of The Iran Threat. Alireza, the deadline has passed. And now we're looking at sanctions? Now the UN is trying to decide what we should punish them with?
Well, I think the UN should have been prepared for this long ago. They should not have wasted even a day with coming up much tougher measures. The sanctions should include oil, arms, technological, and diplomatic sanctions, because if it's meaningful, it's going to hurt the Iranian regime, not only economically, but also sending a strong signal politically to the Iranian regime that the international community is going to be tough on them, but also to the Iranian people that the international community is going to be supportive of their efforts to unseat the Ayatollahs.
You know, I have to tell you, I am... the war is the worst possible option with Iran. Sanctions are not going to work because we've got the UN there. We've got to appeal to the people. And I read a disturbing report this week that we were actually considering, and I hope we haven't done this, maybe you can verify, turning over people that are against their regime in exchange for terrorists. Is that true?
Well, unfortunately, Glenn, this is what the State Department has been doing for the past, at least since 1997, when Khatami took office as, remember the so-called moderate president.
Right.
The State Department was trying to reach out to the Iranian regime, thinking that this way, by sacrificing the main Iranian opposition, they can, modify the behavior of the Iranian regime. They included the main opposition, known as the Mujahideen Khalq, on the terrorist list in 1997, and then it further emboldened the Iranian regime. This is the same opposition that exposed all the major nuclear sites of Iran. And in 2003, there were major efforts by the Iranian regime to get the United States, to get the forces of the MEK who are based in Iraq, north of Baghdad, to turn them over to the Iranian regime in exchange for Iran's, passive actions in Iraq. That clearly is going to backfire if it's ever considered. Right now, the U.S. military is building a very, very good relationship with this opposition in Iraq. There are many people in the Congress from both sides of the aisle who are saying we got to end the designation, the terrorist designation that the State Department put on this group in 1997, because the Iranian regime is making threats that are real. We need to reach out to the Iranian people and to the main opposition to strengthen them, not hindering them.
We have got to reach out to the people. War is not the answer. Alireza, thank you very much. Back in a minute with